Stu, you know me. Sometimes I write down funny thoughts I have in my iPhone notes bit, right?
Yeah. Well, you have some, I'm going to call them low-level aspirations of doing some stand-up. Is that accurate?
It was a fleeting thought, I suppose. Let's go
Past tense.
No, I still think of it sometimes, especially when I've indulged, apparently, because I write down ideas. So I woke up with 2 new ones this weekend. Well, Monday morning, I was looking at my notes. I was like, fuck, I don't remember writing those.
Okay, are these bits? Are you calling these bits?
I think they could be turned into bits.
All right.
One was I had just written, take me down to Paradox City, where the girls are ugly and the girls are pretty. I think that's kind of funny.
Yeah, and just end it there.
Yeah, just end it there. I don't know. Yeah. I'm no Weird Al Yankovic.
No, I don't think anyone's asking you to be.
Good. I don't think anyone's asking for another Weird Al Yankovic. The other bit I found was a little harder to interpret, but upon reading the words, I realised what I had thought. It's a visual gag, and it's not really for a stand-up bit, but what I had thought up in my head was, cigars that come in like a cigar tube?
Yeah.
If I was to always carry one of those with a pre-cooked hot dog in it and just take it out when need be and munch on a hot dog.
Time to celebrate, boys. You pull it out.
Start munching on a hot dog. I don't know what to do with that.
Well, you're not a father. But
No.
when you are, you can keep that tradition going of...
the traditional hot dog.
No, just, the father brings some cigars for everyone on the announcement of the birth of the child. Here we go, boys. Dig in.
There's a hot dog in there.
Yeah, that's amusing. Again, we should just do a sketch show where every sketch is like 10 seconds long.
I'd love that.
Someone's probably done it before.
My wife had a weird thing. A lot of my funny comes from my wife, and she is quite funny without meaning to be. And she did this bit on the phone to me yesterday that just like halfway through I was like, fuck, she's doing a great bit. I don't know how, I said, this is great. You got to do your stand-up. She didn't realise. What happened was we were talking on the phone, and then the phone cut out. And then we started talking, and I said, hey, so what happened there? Like, whose phone? She said, shh, I don't fucking care. Let's just keep talking. And then I was like, what do you mean? And she started ranting about how, who cares what happened to the phone? We both know that the phone was gone. Now the phone is back.
I love this.
Yeah. All we're doing is wasting time here.
I am so on board with that. The number of times I've had a conversation, because I've got a few black spots in my house, and I'll walk through, and then whoever I'm talking to will go, oh, what happened there?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Am
who
I
cares?
a fucking phone technician?
Exactly. Yeah.
Furthermore, don't give a fuck what happened. We're back talking now.
If I didn't want to talk to you and had done something for that, I wouldn't be talking again. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and I was like, yeah, that's cool.
100% with her. Is she going to do some stand-up?
I hope so. I also wrote, why is breakfast different, but lunch and dinner are pretty much interchangeable? It's true.
No, that's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. And also, I've written here, this one I must have been drunker. I said, I'll gamble however I want, you bloodsuckers. Gamble responsibly. Fuck you. Because I assume I saw a gambling ad that said gamble responsibly.
Yeah.
I said, I'll gamble however I want, you bloodsuckers.
Hopefully we get big enough at some point for a gambling company to sponsor this, and we can
wipe that.
Straight after that, their ad, we can play that bit.
I like that.
It's What's the Go? It's the podcast that's kind of about sport. Let's say it is, because you need to say it's about something, don't you?
You got to categorise it, yes.
We talk about sport. What am I?
We do.
I'm
The whole
being
thing's
silly.
about sport.
I'm
It
being
starts
silly.
with sport. Sometimes it goes
Yeah,
on
yeah.
tangents. A tangential sports show.
Great
There we go.
phrase.
Thank you.
Get more marketing going. Monty,
Yes.
news from you. Just thoughts from your life.
Not much. COVID rolls on. I've been working at home for a long time, thinking about sports, watching lots of sports.
It's not affecting you that well at the moment, is it, the working from home? You seem to be getting...
Time is soup for me now. I just, every day rolls into the next, punctuated by weekends, but the weekends are the same.
Look, I'm going to say a few sport things.
Well, before you do that, Stu, what about you? You got any news, mate? How's things?
Oh, mate, I'm just happy it's spring. It was a cracking bloody Sunday.
Now, is it spring, though, or are we just being simpletons in calling it spring? Doesn't spring start on the vernal equinox?
Fuck your vernal equinox. It was a nice day, and it was...
You're not the first person to tell me that.
Channel 7 fires up about not wanting to pay full freight on the cricket this summer when the product won't be as good as normal. International cricketers won't be able to come, etc. Cricket Australia be all like, COVID ain't our fault, bruh. Pay up, you know?
Yeah, it's true. A couple of points on that. First one, tangential sports show, so I got a tangent to go off, but it relates to Channel 7. Did you read that article today about the decline of Bruce McAvaney?
No. Who wrote that?
Also good journalism. A Reddit user wrote it, and then they said on news.com.au, said, we've taken this whole story from Reddit with their permission.
Right.
So they're not even doing journalism anymore, they're doing that. But the Reddit article was amazing.
Right.
This guy had broken down the problems with Bruce's most recent commentary. The game he commentated on the weekend, I believe, Carlton Collingwood.
Yeah.
55 rhetorical questions.
What's wrong with that?
In 4 quarters.
That's a normal question, not a rhetorical question. I want you to answer it. What's wrong with that? I like that.
because it appears as if he was adding nothing. He also it then documented how many times he had used nicknames for his fellow commentators.
Right.
And it was through the roof, an average of like 3.5 per minute.
Again, I'll ask what the problem with that is.
I think what they were getting at was that Bruce is offering nothing to your viewing.
Right. So it's not actually enhancing the pictures that you see.
It's not doing anything. In fact, it's taken away from them.
Okay. Now, the mind boggles. Do you have an example of what a rhetorical question from Bruce during a game might be?
Yeah. Give me 1 sec, Stu. I'll show you this. It's not only... It's like a graph. It's like... It's amazing. Bruce is a legend, but it's time to go. All right, let's have a look. I'll scroll through to...
Yeah, I just want to know what they're citing as an example of a Bruce rhetorical question.
He... In 41 minutes of airtime, he referenced his co-commentators by name 55 times at a rate of around 1.38 per minute. Okay, here's a breakdown of his rhetorical questions by quarter. So he said, isn't he, isn't it, or aren't they? And then a shitload of times.
Right.
Then it breaks down, didn't he, didn't it, or didn't they? Hasn't he, hasn't it, or haven't they?
So player X has just passed the ball, hasn't he?
Or more of, I assume, so Husey, who he's mentioned, some other commentator has said, that's a good kick. Isn't it, says Bruce. or he's taken a mark there. Has he, says Bruce.
Maybe Bruce is just questioning the reality of it all, whether he's, really seeing what he's seeing in front of his eyes.
We've also broken down how many times he said G. He says G a lot. Yeah.
As an exclamation.
Yeah, he said G. So he was going strong in the first quarter. He said, I reckon, a very lot too.
All right. That's an assertion.
All right, so we're going back. What were we talking about? Cricket that got me on Channel 7. But then...
Channel 7 say they're not getting what they paid for.
Yes.
And Cricket Australia are saying...
COVID's not our fault, that's right.
What are we meant to do?
Okay, I was going to say, well, how could anyone prepare for COVID? But Wimbledon did. Did you see that? Wimbledon took out COVID... Well, they took out pandemic insurance.
When?
5 years ago.
Oh.
I know, right? Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sports podcast, conspiracy podcast. Who knows? Wimbledon rule the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they earned money this year.
Okay. So what do you reckon's happened? Like a Wimbledon high up?
Yep. Real tough cat.
Is
eating his strawberries and cream.
Found himself in China.
Ooh.
Seen people eating bats.
These motherfuckers are eating bats. Better get some pandemic insurance.
Dad, this is gonna end in tears.
I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Well, at least someone's ahead of the
Doesn't
game.
that feel very colonial? Like this guy in China going, fuck me. We better go back to my grass tennis court thing.
He's in the wet market,
Yeah.
watching people eat bats. He's walking around with his bowl of strawberries and cream.
I assume bowl of strawberries and cream and a gin and tonic aloft on people's shoulders, kind of, taking in the Orient.
Or one of those carriages that people carry around.
Yeah, a portable carriage. Yeah. Now, also, on another point, because we're going on tangents, did you know that America colonized the Philippines?
Yes.
I didn't know that. I found that out recently. Blew my mind.
Yeah, as part of the...
Actually, I found it out last night.
They took the territory off the Spanish.
Spanish probably, yeah.
Sorry. The American-Spanish War.
I didn't know it happened during that. I know of that war. I didn't know it happened during that. The thing that got me on it was that way back when, coupled with really easy schooling and ability to get accreditation, is why the world is full of Filipino nurses.
Really?
Yeah, because they were taught in English, because there's carryover from the United States colonialism, and then they went to and then they were like, well, we can earn a shitload more money in Australia, England, and the rest of the world, so we'll go do that.
Yeah. Well, the Americans...
Sport podcast?
Yeah. The Americans obviously were... had a stake in trying to defend the Philippines in the Second World War because the Japanese were coming to try and take over. It was their territory.
Yeah.
There you go. So I'll return to my original question, which was...
Please. Was there a question in that? I thought it was a news story.
Well, it's a news story, but I'm asking a question in that we've got a problem here. Both sides say that it's not their fault. So who's going to back down? Cricket Australia or Seven? Do Cricket Australia go, all right, we'll give you a discount, we can't help it, but the product's not as good? Or does Seven go, well, we signed a contract, so we've got to do it?
Go back one step. What are Seven are saying, that the product is not good?
Yeah, so the scheduling's all munted because of COVID. You can't have international players.
Yep.
Because it's just been decided that it's too much.
For the Big Bash we're talking about?
For the Big Bash,
yeah,
yes.
Okay.
And obviously, we've still got India coming for...
Yeah, but they are coming, aren't they?
Yeah.
And are they going to quarantine for a couple of weeks or something like that?
Or they're trying to avoid quarantining. They want to be above quarantining, exempt from quarantining. I guess I shouldn't try too hard to get an answer out of you because it'll be conjecture.
Yeah, hearsay.
Which is weird.
Hearsay.
And usually we have everything, we actually solve real problems here on this podcast.
Real world problems, yeah. Look, I don't know. I feel like contract, right? Signed. So Seven are going to do it. Maybe they just have to say we're not going to broadcast a whole bunch of stuff because the schedule's all out of whack. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's say, that you pay me a lot of money to go and paint your shed.
Sure.
You say, I want a delicious crimson colour, if you wouldn't mind, sir.
Absolutely.
And I come in and I haven't got crimson. I've only got white. And that's going to make it easy to mark up when your dogs run into it and scratch it and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think you've used the wrong kind of analogy there. I think I've asked you to paint my shed a nice crimson. You said, sure, I've got the crimson. But because of rain, I can't do it till all on this one evening late at night, and it's going to be real loud.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I can't bring in any international painters.
There you go. Yeah. So it's only me, old shitty painter. So you're not getting the quality painting that you wanted.
It was a great analogy. I don't want you to fault it. A-League Grand Final, Sydney FC.
Yeah.
Bring it home, eh?
Yeah, I watched a bit of that. It was one with a nipple, which is always good. The man with the best hair in all of football, Ryan Grant, scored a nipple goal to win it.
Chesticles.
Chesticles, indeed.
And on A-League, I saw something during the week about there's a sniff, a potential hint of the return of the mighty Gold Coast United.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
The former Clivey Palmer-owned club's looking to get an A-League licence again.
Yeah, nice. Clive Parmigiana.
I don't think he's involved. He's too busy trying to...
Oh, so it won't be him. I didn't know that. Okay.
No. I think he's too busy trying to dig a hole under a fence in WA.
Do you think it's just time we as a country just stop with the Gold Coast? Like, we've tried for 50 years to make it a thing.
In sport or everything?
Everything. Like, sport, we've obviously tried to make it a thing. None of them are good.
My confusion with the Gold Coast is that, how big is the Gold Coast? I don't want you to answer
I've been there a few
size
times.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
I've been there a few times. A couple of blocks. Nothing.
But how many people do you hear of that
100,
come from the
200 people.
fucking Gold Coast?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone comes
Yeah,
from the
yeah,
Gold Coast.
Yeah, I get you.
They stacked bloody 6 people high there or something, aren't they?
Well, they do have that one really tall building. Yeah, it is stacked quite high.
And they all look the same.
Yeah.
Everyone from the
like
Gold
Warwick
Coast
Kappa.
looks the same.
Yeah, I get you. You tell me this. What is the sporting highlight of the Gold Coast? What's the best they've done in anything?
Or didn't Wayne Bartram play for the Seagulls at one point?
Just play for them. That's the highlight.
Signing.
Yeah. Wow. I remember Carmichael Hunt kicked a goal for them in the AFL once, and that was pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you know what would be sporting highlights? The motor races.
So you just Googled Gold Coast sporting highlights,
Yeah.
and there's a Wikipedia page.
Do you remember the East Coast Aces?
No, of course not. Who?
Rugby union team. Played in the Australian Rugby Championship.
When?
2007. For
1 year.
The Gold Coast Blaze also started in 2007, a very heady year.
I got to say, I can't blame them for trying because from what we can tell, the Gold Coast has a population of at least 18 million, right?
What?
Yeah. Well, everyone you know comes. So many people come from the Gold Coast.
that up. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So of course you want a piece of that market.
Can I just point out, they've had a few different teams get their license revoked in a few different sports in the Gold Coast. They also had now, here's a bit of trivia. They had an NBL team from 1990 to 1996. Can you give me the name of that team?
1990-96 NBL.
It appears as if halfway through their tenure they changed their name too.
Well, that's Gold Coast to a T.
Yeah,
the
isn't it?
league club had 5 names. From what I can tell.
Yep.
All right. Oh, is it bird related? They all often seem to be bird related.
No, but one of them's an animal related. I'll put you out of your misery.
Go on.
They were first called the Gold Coast Cougars,
Oh yeah.
and then the Gold Coast Rollers.
Oh, Cougars.
Does that make
Rollers
Yeah.
for basketball?
Apparently, yeah. That's probably why they folded.
All right.
And the Chargers.
Well, the
Yeah.
Gold Coast Folders.
What? I don't remember. What? You're a knowledgeable rugby league guy. In 1996, the Gold Coast had a team.
Yeah.
They folded before the end of pre-season.
Well, which iteration are we talking about?
Well, that's what I'm trying to get you to get at. This is a different name to anyone I've ever heard.
Okay, so let me go. There were Seagulls, Giants,
Yep.
Chargers.
Yep. And one that folded before the end of pre-season.
Hang on, Seagulls, Chargers, Giants. No, go on.
The Gold Coast Gladiators.
Gladiators.
Yep.
Even I don't remember that.
I know, right?
So hang on. So they
have a sick-looking logo.
Oh, so they never played a game.
No. Pre-season they played a couple of games.
Far out.
Notable players. Wayne Bartram.
Yeah.
There you go. So that was Martin Bella, Preston Campbell. This is a decent team. Ben Eichen.
Yeah.
Wally Lewis. It was that weird time. It was when,
but they weren't. He was a Seagull, Wally. This must have been the transition from Seagull into something else.
Seagull to Charger. Yeah. So we start with Gold Coast Tweed Giants. Yeah. Follow it up with the Gold Coast Seagulls. Then we have one pre-season of the Gladiators. Then we go into the Charger
era.
Yeah. So what happened was, they changed their name. They changed their whole thing. For pre-season, they were the Gladiators. They started the season as the Chargers.
Right.
There you go. And there's today's Gold Coast.
Look where how long? Bloody hell! This must be the longest they've been a thing. Like just one thing. A title.
Must be.
Who'd have thought constantly changing your marketing and logo and so on would be bad for business?
And we've got, Gold Coast Titans and Gold Coast Suns, 2007 and 2011.
Yeah.
Not folded as yet.
But Gold Coast Suns are doing all right this year. Or they were.
They were. They started better than they have, but the bar's pretty low for them.
Yeah, righto.
I think we've done enough on Gold Coast for now.
Should I stray back onto my list of sport things to talk about?
Yeah.
All right. The Horn Zoo fight. How about that?
Yeah.
Horn is gone.
Yeah. Punching primary school teachers done.
Yeah, he's got to. there's lots of calls for him to retire. He looks like he doesn't have much left to give.
Do you think there's any kind of worry between repeatedly being punched in the head and then going to teach the youth of our nation?
What, you mean he might start using like a compass to try and write on the chalkboard with?
Yeah, or that's good. That's funny. Or sometimes with those poor older players with the HIA and that kind of stuff. What's the disease they get? But they get a bit angry at the smaller things.
Oh, yeah.
What if he punched a child?
Well, by the looks of that Horn Zoo fight, it wouldn't hurt the child very much.
It's great. That's funny.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I can understand why people are saying it, but I also need people to know it's not really their business.
Did you see they
tell him to
they
retire.
screwed up at the fight and called him the wrong thing?
Called him the wrong thing?
No. The guy said, and the ring announcer said, and now we're ready for the fight between Jeff Horn and Jeff Zhu.
Jeff Zhu?
Yeah. And he came out and said, my name's Tim.
At least they didn't call him Sun Zhu. He's been dead for a long time.
But he is the son of Kostya Zhu.
Oh, nice one.
Thank you.
NBA stopping for Black Lives Matter. That was pretty interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, I followed this quite closely, especially because I got up that morning wanting to watch some basketball and it wasn't on. But I think it's a really powerful statement. And I think that, showing corporate America that they can stop if they wanted to, that they rely on them is good. But then also, as far as I can tell, the Players Union and LeBron specifically reached out to Barack Obama.
Yeah.
And Barack said...
For advice.
Yeah, for advice. Yeah. And Barack said you should keep playing because that way you keep your
voice out there.
Yeah, you keep your platform to kind of tell people. I think it's good. I think look, everyone around the world, I'm sure, enjoys sitting back and commenting on American culture and what's going on at the moment and how crazy it is. We are but a humble sports tangential podcast. Good for them, and I think they should keep doing it, but I got not much more to say on that.
No, but what you said was very good.
Thank you.
Not a silly sidebar inside, which is good.
Waka waka.
What about a few league snippets here, Monty? There's the little whisper Bennett possibly being back to coach the Maroons if Kevy goes to Broncos, right?
Yeah, I saw that. What do you think about that? I mean...
When is Bennett done?
He's never done.
Okay, yes, he's been a good coach. He has a lot of respect from people because he's quiet and cranky. But, does anyone else... Can someone else have a go? When's this guy going to retire?
I don't think he's going to retire. I suppose coaches can go ages, can't they? How old do you reckon Wayne Bennett is?
He's
60s?
No, he's 70 now, or turning 70.
The thing with coaches is they can go till they... Has anyone ever... Has a coach ever passed away while coaching? Not out there, but during a season?
No, I don't think so. Oh, Chris Anderson nearly did. He had a massive heart attack while he was...
Chris Hansen? Is that what you said?
Chris Anderson.
Oh, yeah. Chris Hansen's the Catch a Predator guy. Yeah. You don't want him showing up. Yeah. Oh, it's just getting pizza with this child.
Well,
she said she was 19.
But he'd be good at halftime bakes if the team's not playing well. You just go down to each player and go,
Chris,
what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Why are you here?
Yeah.
They go, like oh yeah, you're right. I should be fighting for my career.
Yeah. Wayne Benet, do you reckon?
And then one person goes, I was here to meet a girl. And I go,
yeah, on that. Okay. Wayne Benet, do you reckon he blows up?
No, I can't imagine.
It's weird, right? I can't imagine it either. But maybe it will be very effective because it is Wayne Benet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he gives people the silent treatment when he's angry.
Well, that seems to be when he's happy.
But what makes him a good coach is that he gives people a silent treatment when he's happy as well.
Yeah, okay. So you just never know.
So that leaves you guessing.
And then you want to work better for him so that you don't disappoint him and make him happy.
You've got no indication of whether he's happy or upset with you.
Yes.
So you always err on the side of good.
Well, better do better.
Just so you know, you just feel safe about the whole thing.
Better do better so I can help him.
I'm wrong. Sorry, he's a genius. He should coach till he's 110. Tigers look like they're going to give Marshall a little bit of a flick out the door.
Flick out the door.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big call, isn't it? I mean, he's, probably their most creative player outside of Harry Grant, who's
not their player.
Who's not going to be.
Yeah, completely agree. He's spiritual leader and all that kind of stuff. I think it's probably the start of a bit of a blow up. I was reading that, blowing up the team. I think we're going to get rid of a few players. I don't know. He'll go somewhere else, right? That's what he was saying, Benji. He said he wanted to play on.
Yeah, but it feels like he's been on the verge of retirement for 5 years.
I thought he did retire.
Yeah.
Didn't he retire for a while?
Maybe.
Or did he go play... He went and played Union in France, didn't he? Or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was him done, but no, came back.
So where would he go?
I don't know.
Chargers?
Gladiators? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, look, it upsets me. He's such a spiritual talisman kind of thing, and, you want him there, but maybe, I don't know. Do you trust Madge or Benji more? Probably Benji. Benji's more of a heart and soul. How many premierships has Madge won with Balmain in 2005, right?
Yeah. Marshall's probably got one season in him at best, though. So how much stock do you put in that one season? When realistically, a big rebuilding phase might edge you into the 8 next season, but you're not going to be in the grand final, so...
I don't think we'd get into the 8. If we rebuild, I think we're, 3 years away, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm speaking from the Tigers' perspective now, so what's the point of keeping him around then?
What's the point of keeping him around?
Instead of blooding a new player that's going to be around for a while.
I think you could probably... I don't know. It's probably personal with Benji, but my hope would be that you would have him there to help blood new players. Like, to say... play 8 games of the year starting and then come from the bench and just be an older head to say, have you ever seen a flick pass?
Yeah.
This is how you do it.
I think the issue is that kind of player would be on less money than Benji's on and would be happy to take.
Now, that being said, do you think someone else is happy enough to pay Benji that money? Do you think he's good enough still?
I would say, he's been at the Broncos, but a year at the Broncos it can't hurt them anymore. It can only help.
Good point. And they've probably got the money to give him what he wants.
Yeah. But Knights maybe, because Knights were kind of banking on Blake Green next season, but I think his injury is kind of pushing him into retirement. So I feel the Knights have 3 or 4 5/8s kind of all in line, but they're all very young. So maybe one more season of learning and learn from Benji Marshall.
Yeah, he's good person to learn from.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's keep an eye on it, see what happens. But I do think it's writings on the wall. He's probably not going to be with Tigers next year.
Yeah. Speaking of the Knights, poor old Mitchie Pearce misses out on a cool $125K. He has a clause in his contract that would have paid him a bonus for if the Knights made the top 4, and they fucked it for him.
I really enjoy sporting kind of KPI related contracts.
Yeah, I did how does this work with salary caps though?
I don't know. There's a lot about salary caps that I don't understand.
Yeah, right.
Like, you can front load salary caps where you pay the guy heaps one year and no one else, and then very little the following years. Like, I don't...
But it makes me wonder, if the Knights made the top 4 and they had to pay him that $125K, do they just axe another player?
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Oh, sorry, we made the top 4. You can't be here next year. See you later.
Now, here's another sporting KPI contract-related thing that verges on even weirder for me. A lot of American football and NBA especially have clauses in their contract where they'll get paid quite a lot more, up to a couple of million sometimes, if they make the All-Star team.
Right.
The All-Star team is voted on by journalists. So it's like, how much do you have to pay each journalist to then still be earning money with your extra $2 million? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's some issues there. That's funny about Pierce, so good. I find that funny. What did he need to do? They need to make the 4?
Top 4.
Yeah.
And the Knights could have, but...
Can they not now?
I think since being blasted by the Warriors, that's taken away all chance.
They've really slid, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were looking great at the beginning and then just really fell off.
Yeah. Well, every time someone tried to play hooker, they got broken in half.
Yeah, that's fair.
Huawei Chinese phone company, quit as major sponsor of the Raiders due to, Aussie government's anti-China policies.
Yeah. Do we have anti-China policies? That seems a bit...
Well, it's perceived anti-China policies. We have been bullish politically with China.
Yeah, bull-like.
Yeah, which they're calling dog tactics, I assume.
Yeah, dog tactics. Do you know, is Huawei going to remove their sponsorship straight away?
I'd say so.
We're going to have a Canberra jersey with nothing on the front?
Well,
I love a jersey with
get the milk back.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that? Surely Oak on the front, right?
Or
Oak was Oak, wasn't it?
No, that's Panthers you're thinking of. It's Canberra milk. It was just Canberra
milk.
Yeah.
I knew there was another milk sponsor in
What
this
about
league.
Wodgers? Wasn't there Wodgers in the
Wodgers?
80s? I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, please do. Wodgers. What is a Wodgers?
Yeah, well, let's find out. Woodgers. It's, what is Woodgers?
Please, tell me what a Wodgers is. Do you want to hear...
I'm seeing a lot of stuff about Woodgers being a sponsor of the Raiders.
But that's it.
But not what Woodgers actually fucking is.
Maybe it's just one bloke, Wodgers, and he decided, I'm going to put all my life work into sponsoring a rugby league team. Don't sell anything.
Yeah. I think Canberra will come back and get a sponsor pretty quickly, don't you? They're flying high-ish.
Yeah, it should do. It's our nation's capital. What would you like to see sponsor them? Something quite Australian, you'd think, right? Vegemite?
I don't know that it's Australian-owned.
Okay.
Well, I was thinking something more Canberra-ish, like...
Roundabouts.
or
It's brought to you by Roundabouts.
Telecom Tower. The Questicons.
Questacon.
Come on, man.
Sick,
There you go.
Sick. Yeah, that's about all we know about Canberra.
All
Hey,
right.
do you want to hear a small kind of tragedy story about another failed Gold Coast team?
Have you just got a kind of catalogue of these to...
This Wikipedia article goes on. In 2008, the semi-professional Brisbane Blue Tongues in the Australian Ice Hockey League moved their base to Iceland on the Gold Coast and formed the Gold Coast Blue Tongues.
Right.
Everything sounds great. But then, serious health and safety risks were discovered at the Iceland venue in 2013, and the team was given 2 years to find an alternative home.
So hang on. Serious safety risks?
Yeah.
But you got 2 years to find somewhere
Yeah,
else.
right? So many questions. Also,
Also, what's Woodgers?
yeah, good idea. What is Woodgers? Either way, they folded. They couldn't find a new home.
All right, I think we're going to run out of time in this podcast, but maybe next week, can you tell me more about...
Just an all Gold Coast special.
No. Like, I think this has been the All
Yeah,
Coast special.
definitely.
No, I want to learn more about ice hockey in Australia.
Yeah, okay. I've been to a few games. It's bizarre.
I've heard nothing about it, ever.
I had a couple of mates when I was a kid play ice hockey.
So is it a legit national competition?
Yeah, well, I don't know, legit. It's a national competition.
Is it a national?
Yeah, there's a national.
Who's doing the marketing? I've heard nothing about this.
Yeah, no one. No one. Yeah, what's the Sydney team's called? The Polar Bears, I think, or something like that.
Don't stare blankly at me. I'm asking you what this is.
All right, I'll look it up and we'll come back next week with some
Yeah,
ice
that's what I'm
hockey
saying.
stuff.
Let's talk about it next week. That's some sizzle for you to look forward to. Australian ice hockey coming at you. Monty, we were talking about this yesterday. Not that means anything to anybody listening to this, because they could be listening at any time. But Todd Payton, right?
Yeah.
Interim coach of the Auckland Warriors. Auckland Warriors? New Zealand Warriors. Bloody hell, I'm living in the past.
They were the Auckland Warriors.
They were, yeah. That was bloody ages ago.
Gold Coast Chargers.
Seemingly going to North Queensland next year to coach them, right?
Yeah, and we were talking and we both agreed.
Yeah, that he's a very scary-looking man, but also a very attractive man.
He's a scary villain.
Scary,
Sexy,
attractive.
scary villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, Todd Payton. Very piercing blue eyes.
Yeah. So I would be intimidated by him, but also, want to get a bit closer.
And on. Yeah, I don't know what you at home can do with this information, but we both agree that he's
Well, what I'd like is...
sexy but villainous.
What I'd like is just some more examples, if anyone's got them, of who's scary attractive.
Ooh. Have you ever seen a picture of Arsene Wenger, the Arsenal manager?
No. Is that who the Wenger bus is named after?
That happened for a bit, yes.
Okay.
All right, yeah, well, yeah, people at home, please write in sexy but scary sporting figures.
Yeah, or historical figures, anyone you like, really.
Well, famous people, please.
Yeah,
Don't tell us about your mate Greg.
Who's, got beautiful, lush hair, but, punches old people.
Penchant for stabbing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Stuart, we talked about kabaddi last time we were here.
Yeah, we did.
I thought I'd delve deeper. And I found a list of I don't know the number, but a list of numbered weird sports.
Right.
So I thought I'd tell you about them and we can, talk about them as we go through.
How many weird sports?
I don't know the number. I've only started at the top. I don't
Okay.
know how far this goes.
All right. So we could be here 5 minutes. We could be here
exactly
50 minutes.
Exactly.
All right.
Now, number one, I don't find very weird, but I'll tell you about it. It's sepak takraw. Are you familiar with sepak takraw?
I'm going to say no, I'm not. And I'm also going to say you can pack that question away for the rest of them because I probably haven't heard of any of these.
No, I reckon you'll have heard of some of them.
Okay.
Sepak takraw it's awesome. It's gangster. It's cool as. It's
gangster.
It's Southeast Asian sport that's like soccer and volleyball combined.
Right.
But the ball is a little kind of bamboo dealy.
Right. So you've got to get it over the net by only using feet.
Yeah, but they do like spikes where they like backflip and kick it down. Yeah, that's
like
pretty
bicycle.
Good. Yeah, it's awesome. I believe there is a Jackie Chan film which it features in heavily. I think he's like a sepak takraw guy.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool sport, and I wouldn't call it that weird, but it's pretty awesome.
I'm going to look some footage up.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. It's pretty sick. Number two is, you've heard of this, but it's shit that it's a real sport. I hate the fact that this is a thing. Quidditch.
How's it a real sport?
Well, it appears as if here they just use balls and have to hold a stick while they're running around, a broomstick while they're running around.
Can you imagine the sort of people who play that?
Yeah, dickheads. Yeah, moving on. Number three. Now, this is more, we're getting weirder here. Tuna tossing.
Tuna tossing.
Tuna tossing.
Is that what I think it is?
What do you think it is?
Discus, but with tuna?
Yeah, but more, it's less discus, more...
Hammer throw?
Yeah, is hammer the one on the end of the chain?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that. Yeah, you've got it appears as if you've got like a kind of hook in the tuna's mouth. It's quite hefty looking tuna.
Right.
Spin him around and launch him, see how far he goes.
So is there a standard chain length, or can you choose a shorter or longer chain depending on your own tactics?
That it doesn't say, but it does tell me that it's a 20-pound fish.
Oh, always.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, how long will you have to fish for to make sure you've got enough fish of exactly the same weight to hold a competition?
Well, I assume you'd grow fish from babies and kill them as soon as they got to 20 pounds.
Right, so then you've got different stages of being frozen.
Oh.
Because they're not going to catch them all at once. Like, if you need, say,
Well,
let's say you need...
in my scenario, we're farming them. We're not catching them.
Fine, but you need, let's say, how many fish do you think you need for one competition? Let's say 40.
Really? I was going to say 1 or 2.
But what are you saying? They're holding a competition, there's 2 throws.
No, they go and get the fish and bring it back and
as
give
if
it
it
to the
wouldn't
guy.
be battered beyond... Like,
You think we're just leaving fish out there?
No, but it would fall apart and then lose its aerodynamicness, surely.
Is aerodynamism a word?
It is now. It's
Yeah.
also the title of this episode.
Aerodynamism. All right, number 4 we're up to now. Toe wrestling.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, players play with their bare feet alternating between their left and right feet and play the best of 3 rounds.
Okay.
Other than that, it doesn't really describe to me what's happening.
Well, it'd just be like thumb wrestling, just with big toes, surely.
Yeah, except although here it says it's more similar to arm wrestling.
Maybe they just have really long toes, whoever came up with this game.
The people in the picture look very kind of middle to lower class British. Which strikes me as like exactly what this would be.
What's with the
Have a
disdain?
look at the pictures.
Yeah,
You
fine,
tell me.
Fine, but what's with the disdain?
It's not disdain. It's just, they come up with weird sports. They got, they got to keep themselves
They
in
certainly
steam.
like darts, I know that.
Yeah, they do. Number 5. It's one of my favourites. I quite like this sport. I had heard of it before. It's chess boxing. You ever heard of chess boxing?
Is it like live human-sized chess, but when you fight a piece, you've got to actually fight a piece?
No, but that's awesome. I like the sound of that. That's
why
heaps
isn't that
better.
what it
Yeah,
is?
that's heaps better. It would take a while.
Yeah.
Unless you just got one punch at each other's head.
Yeah.
Whoever goes down.
Now,
But that's not really how chess works.
hang on.
There's no battle.
Stop everything.
Maybe you just get to punch the opposing player. So it's like it's a whole human-sized chessboard, but say I'm a pawn and I take a bishop, I just get to punch the guy that's wearing the bishop thing in his mush.
Stop everything. I've got a new game show here.
Yeah.
Like battle chess.
Battle chess.
Right.
I like it.
So it's full life-size human chess,
Yeah.
right? But when you go to take a piece, you've actually got to... They've got to do a challenge of some kind. Whoever
okay.
wins stays on the board.
Wow, I like that. I think
And
there's
so-
some issues with it, but I like it.
But normally you just take the piece if you just move into the spot and take it.
Yeah.
This has got a wrinkle. The piece can defend itself.
So the piece defends itself. If the defending piece wins, does he move to the spot that the attacking piece was?
No, stays where he is.
And the attacking piece lives?
No.
Okay.
So maybe you've got to do whatever the challenge is. It's got to advantage the attacking side. But
okay.
defending side still has a chance.
I like it. Yeah, there's something there. We'll work on
Let's
that.
workshop that.
Yeah.
Anyone steal that idea, we're coming at you.
We will. Attack chess style. Chess boxing. It's fun.
Yeah.
12 rounds. You have to fight for 3 minutes, a regular boxing match, and then play chess for 3 minutes. You can win by knocking the guy out, getting a checkmate, or winning on points at the end of the 12 rounds if the chess isn't over.
Right.
So surely you'll get worse at chess as it goes along.
I suppose, yes.
Brain and brawns, you know. Number 6, we've talked about this before. It's nothing too weird. That would be hot dog eating.
Is that a sport?
It says here it's a sport. It's more of a pastime, in my opinion.
Like baseball.
America's favourite pastime. Yeah, all right, we'll move on from that. Now, here's where it got interesting.
Hang on, that's probably where we should have been talking about Johnny Appleseed.
Yeah, well, we've talked about Johnny Appleseed before. He's the world's best, but his name's not Johnny Appleseed, is it?
No,
It's Joey
Chestnut.
Joey Chestnuts. Question 7. Question 7? No, number 7. This is the one I was quite interested by. Man versus horse marathon.
Handicapped, I assume.
Man versus horse marathon. Not handicapped.
Okay. So what do we say? Man has potential to have enough stamina to beat a horse over a certain period.
I'll read you the thing. You can tell me because I loved this.
I'm jumping in and deciding what I think it is before letting you read.
This marathon began as a way to settle a pub argument in 1979 when Welsh locals Gordon Green and Glyn Hones wondered who would win a marathon, a horse or a man.
Of course they did.
Surely one of them was far drunker than the other. The guy was arguing for man, right? Ever since then, an annual 22-mile, 35.5 kilometre marathon is held in Welshtown, Wales. Welshtown, Wales.
Yep. Welshton in Wales.
No, it's the other way. It's a town called Wales in Welshtown. Right. With both men and horse running. How's this bit, though? It's been held since 79. Men have won on 2 occasions.
What?
But it's usually the horse that emerges victors. If a human wins, they are eligible to win a $40,000 cash prize.
Okay.
Eligible.
What other challenges? What other challenges do they
I don't know
go?
what happens.
So hang on. The time that men have won... Oh, I'm being sexist there. That people have won. Might have been women.
Well, men can be the royal term for hominids,
Mankind.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, right. Is a horse kind of, been distracted by some oats potentially or something like that? What's that like?
I'll tell you what, I suppose if the horse was unridden, he would have no idea.
Of course not.
It would probably be weirder that he did win. For him to go the same direction for 35K. Yeah, I don't know. I like the one thing I like about this is it's literally giving me a paragraph on each. I'm not going to look into anything else.
No. Why would you
guess? Yeah. It's weird that men have only won 2 times. Maybe this one horse knows the way and likes it.
Maybe it's like pub pool where like whoever wins has to carry over into the next game. So if the horse won for 20 years in a row,
that's the same horse. He's real old and tired, but he does know the course.
Yeah, exactly. That's how they keep winning.
I like that. All right, moving on. Oh no, my computer's gotten real dark. It's fine now. Number 8 is the Redneck Games.
Redneck Games. Is that Olympics for kind of your Confederate sort of states?
Some of the events include toilet seat tossing, seed spitting, mud belly flops, armpit serenades, and dumpster diving. I think it's just a redneck get together.
Wonderland.
A hoedown.
Yeah.
Wheelbarrow racing, number 9.
Yeah, that
you
sounds
put
right.
a human in a wheelbarrow and you race.
Makes sense to me.
Wife carrying. You seen that? I've seen that.
Yeah, where they kind of hold the wives upside down on their backs.
Yeah, like fireman's carry or the kind of one-arm fireman's carry. You just got to that one's pretty self-explanatory. Not too bad. Bog snorkeling is number 11. I've heard of that. You know that one where you got to snorkel in a bog?
I haven't,
British
but
bog,
I kind of
poop.
took your meaning from the title. So.
Yeah, it's nothing to. Extreme ironing. You've heard of extreme ironing? I've always seen extreme ironing, but I've never really understood how you would score
Is
it.
there any further information in that paragraph there about extreme ironing? Just so we got some parameters for how...
Extreme ironing is a type of extreme sport where people take clothes and ironing boards to remote or dangerous locations to do a spot of ironing.
Fuck, really?
Yeah, I've seen this. So, like, people like ironing as they jump out of a plane or ironing off the side of a building, that kind of vibe.
Okay, that's not what I thought. I thought it was like you had to iron a hectic amount of shirts in a very small period of time.
Now, you remember I told you we didn't know how many sports there were here?
Yep.
That might not even matter, as my the thing that I'm reading from has 3% battery left, so it might disappear.
I don't actually mind if we carry over some of this into next time because...
Okay, well, 13 is cheese rolling. Nothing too interesting. Don't worry, we move on. The next one interests me more, though. Giant pumpkin kayaking. If you're tired of using a kayak to go kayaking, then why not give this quirky sport a try instead? The most famous giant pumpkin race by far takes place annually on Nova Scotia's Lake Pessaquid. The race is around half a mile long and participants typically decorate their pumpkins in a colourful way. So it appears as if this man has hollowed out a rather large pumpkin and sat in it.
Yeah, and put himself on a lake.
Underwater football, I've seen this. It just it's stupid.
Yep.
Unicycle hockey?
I'd watch that.
Yeah, I would watch that too. I wouldn't play it though.
No.
For lots of reasons. Now this is where I was like, I hope we get to this one before it runs out of battery. Number 17. Competitive worm charming. Competitive worm charming. Worm charming is a sport in which participants attempt to lure as many earthworms out of the ground as possible within a predefined time frame.
With what? Siren song?
There are many kinds of techniques that can be used. However, the most common one is to simply tap the ground rhythmically until the worms begin to emerge.
Why does that make worms come out?
They're party animals, man. They can't help but come to the beat.
I would have thought like a constant tapping might have been like...
Make them go further down.
Well, like it might be a bird's beak tapping on the ground trying to look for worms. Why would you come up and see what the fuck was going on?
Good point. Yeah.
Suicidal.
You know, I've got it. I'm no scientist, but you know they always come up when it's wet.
Oh, so they think it's raindrops.
Maybe.
Yeah, you might be right there.
So yeah, there's the world of weird sports.
Yeah. I might apologise again for the bird noises in the background. We're at Monty's house. He can't help the birds, so don't get upset.
Yet.
That was good. I appreciate that. We talked a lot more about the Gold Coast than I thought we would, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, is it?
No, I think a lot of people, like, at the end of a conversation say, wow, I talked a lot more about the Gold Coast than I thought I would have.
Yeah. Come back for any Gold Coast news that you're interested in too. We might have a... I reckon we could probably get a regular Gold Coast man segment going, much like a Florida man segment.
It's the closest thing, isn't it? Gold Coast man is the closest thing to Florida man here. Yeah, I completely agree.
All right. Any plans for the coming week as the outro music comes up?
Not really. I'm going to make some tuna tonight. No, I'm not. I'm going to make some salmon tonight.
All right. Is this tuna going to be something hurled viciously in a competition of some kind that you found on the ground?
It's a salmon. Can't toss a salmon.
That sounds like a challenge.
See you next week.
See ya.
Hello, my name is Piers Grove, and I'm a founder, publisher, and managing director. In March 2022, I'd just been named Managing Director of Australian Geographic and set up Scout Publishing. Then, everything changed. 404 Brain Not Found, the podcast for stroke survivors and their friends and colleagues. We explore the absurd experience and frustrating journey of stroke recovery. 404 Brain Not Found, a general experiments podcast on all podcast streamers.
My name's Stu.
I'm Rachel.
And we are fans.
Obsessives might be the word.
Of the 90s. The 90s. The 90s. The 90s. You can follow the podcast on your favourite podcast app. Rachel, what's the name of the show?
Swinging on the flippity flop.
Why the 90s?
We lived it.
We lived it. We were it.
Was it the best decade ever or the lamest? Let's find out.
Flippity flop.